So how does this usually unfold? What's the deal here?
I don't know. What's been going on with you recently, man?
Played handball yesterday. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's a very New York sport.
Where'd you do it?
I was in Staten Island.
They got courts near where you are?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played for like 5 hours.
Damn, and you have the stamina to fuck around with handball for that whole time?
I used to. It used to be a lot better, but now it's I feel it in my knees. I've had 2 knee surgeries because of handball, and it seems so not worth it. But I was really into it. That's every day would be dedicated to handball.
That's real cool. I used to work on like 16th and 8th Avenue, and around the corner there was a handball place.
Where at?
It was the Google corporate office there. It's like between 15th and 16th and 8th and 9th Avenue. That whole building there is their building essentially. So I worked in like the computer warehouse, and a bunch of the like Latino guys, I think Dominican, Puerto Rican, would go over there and play during lunch, and they'd just like sweat up their work outfits and then go back to work. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's more, yeah, you get a lot of, Puerto Rican and Dominican fellas.
I walk past on Houston here also. There's fucking handball courts there, like around Avenue A
First
or
and first.
B. Yeah.
That's
And
it's
so,
racquetball
you play over there?
Yeah, when I can. I'll play there, I'll play there this summer. Just if I'm doing mics, I can have both worlds. I can do both. That's always the best when you can combine 2 things that you like in one day.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I guess you got comedy probably going most days now.
Yeah,
so it's like you do one other thing. You're pretty. You're in the catbird seat there.
Yeah, and then girlfriend. So. Well, now I have no time.
Jeez, man, you have like a sandwich or a hot meal or something. Yeah, you're really. That's what you got to do in life. Set that bar way, way low, just so if anything, you put them all together. It feels good.
Yeah, one of the best days I've had was it was good. It was I presented a paper in school, so it was like an academic fulfillment, and I presented a paper and it's like critiqued and it was well received, and so you have that kind of experience of like that ivory tower and like again that intellectual fulfillment.
Yeah.
And then like hours later, I went down to West 4th Street and I played handball with it's not unsavory, but almost homeless people. And this guy gave me a beer. I had a beer with my friend Promise. We smoked cigarettes.
That's what what I was gonna say is, man, when I walk past on Houston, I see those guys with their like I don't know some kind of Latin rum that they're pouring into paper cups or whatever.
Sometimes
playing dominoes, sitting on the side. That's the kind of handball I can get.
Poker and stuff. Yeah, they do like nutcrackers. They call it. They're like like those 5-cent drinks. The 5-cent like fruit drinks, and then they just fill it with.
Oh, they like plastic with the twist off tops or whatever. Yeah.
They'll get you fucked up.
I bet it will. When did you realize like you had some artistic ability? Do you know? Did it ever set in particular?
I don't know. My mom would draw a lot. She used to draw I used to love Batman the animated series. So she would draw every character out of like index cards, and so they would stand up. So she'd make like little action figures out of them.
Wow.
And then I guess I started trying to do the same thing. So I don't know. I liked cartooning a lot. I just didn't have I don't know. I should have went to school for it. So I still like doing it. It's just that it kind of goes away.
When you'd sit in class and stuff, would you be drawing in your notebooks, stuff like that?
Calvin and
I envied
Hobbes.
kids like that because I didn't know what to do. It was like playing those like little connect dot games by myself, or you make up a hangman to do. But it's like there's nothing to do by yourself. You could journal or something.
Right.
That looks like work because if your pen is moving on the paper, it looks like you're doing something.
That's true.
Legitimate.
Yeah, Calvin and Hobbes. That's when I would start by tracing Calvin and Hobbes cartoons. You read Calvin and Hobbes?
No, somehow got away from me.
It's the best.
I suppose, and I know I'd like it. Every time I see a frame of it somewhere or other, reposted or whatever,
Yeah, it's very.
it seems like it's got a lot of heart. Like it's very
Yeah.
sentimental while being, while having some funny stuff too.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I mean, he was able to have maintain artistic integrity without. He didn't really sell out, and he still made money. So it's kind of like that's what you go for.
That's the tip
That's
of
the dream.
yeah. It seems like you're interested in these hierarchies of things, like like you're talking about. You have the academic achievement, then you have the kind of street level achievement, and then these things combining to make the perfect day. Or
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. I don't think I had sex that day, but that would have been. I didn't need it at that point, but it was it would have been nice. All the same.
No, you'd already done enough.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? Sometimes
Yeah, you killed the lily.
sometimes it's enough.
Yeah.
You play sports? You ever play sports or anything like that?
My parents shoved me into everything as a kid. I was an only child, and my parents both worked.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah. So like, I think they just couldn't have me home all. I had a housekeeper or whatever growing up, so there was always somebody home with me. But I think they just wanted me to be active, and that was what you did with a kid. And it's funny, I never had any talent in any sport for a second, but it did not matter what season it was. If it was fall, I was playing baseball. If it was, soccer in the fall, basketball in the winter, baseball in the spring, tennis in the summer.
Tennis, huh?
Or summer camp or some other shit where you had to do sports all day.
Tennis seems like has a lot in common with handball.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think so.
It's very it's all position based and angles, and a lot of stamina involved. Did you like any specific sport, or
Tennis was the best.
You like tennis the best?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Tennis.
First of all, it was one-on-one competition,
That's
which always
cool.
meant so much more to me than group competition. Speaking about like hierarchies of things. And then second of all, I was the best at it. I just was
really?
the most competitive. I could play that to the highest level compared to other sports. So
That's cool.
yeah, it had the most going for it in that respect too.
Yeah, tennis is definitely a respectable thing. I don't know. The skills you learn from handball is the same. It could be easily translated, I feel like, to tennis.
I think when tennis was invented, it was originally a hand sport, and then they added brackets to
Was
it.
it?
It's like a French thing. Like love is like l'œuf, the egg, means like goose egg, 0.
This is a good one.
Where'd you hear this kind of music?
I don't know. I think my friend Danny showed it to me, and then my girlfriend showed me this song, and then through that, I don't know, just kept. It's so calming.
Something about the rhythm makes you like you're watching a movie and they're going to Europe or something. Like there's a specific. It communicates a vibe, that seems attached to a place.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's like Stan Getz and Antonio Carlos Jobim.
Man, what about you? You good at any sports besides handball? Are you even good at handball? Like, do you feel competitive when you play?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean,
Sounds like you got your 10,000 hours in. Jesus, you're fucking 5 hours of handball a day.
Oh man, when we were like 18, 19, it was like we would just get high and play all day. It was the best.
I like you got this old-timey New York City shit. My dad's dad was apparently a handball champion in Brooklyn or whatever, like a neighborhood handball.
Was he Jewish?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, because there was for a while.
It's hot Jewish shit to do.
It was some Jewish shit to do, to play some handball in Coney Island.
That's right. Yeah, so what other sports?
I played baseball. I was okay at that. Just
Right.
mediocre. Most things I'm mediocre at. It's just pretty weird. I have enough talent where it's like, okay.
Right.
But I've never been exceptional at anything.
It's funny because I was never really picked on. I was always regular sized and regular weighted, and I don't know. Like I felt like I was pretty much down the middle with most shit like that, where I just wasn't an obvious target for most things.
Right.
But Sports, straight up right field, eighth batter sort of shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's baseball was good, and then I think I just started.
What did you do during
high.
the summers? Like, what was your summers like as a kid?
We played baseball, and then I was in Boy Scouts, but I didn't really like it. I think you get to a certain age with Boy Scouts, you're like, this is kind of gay.
Yeah,
And,
it's also baby stuff. Like,
it's bizarre. Like, it's lame to be a Boy Scout, but it's like really good to be an Eagle Scout. But then, like, the in between is really not.
at the Eagle Scout level, are you going hunting or setting
Eagle
things on
Scout
fire or something?
It's like a very good, like it's a very respectable thing. Like it's a good thing to put on resumes and stuff like that. So I guess at that point, I don't know. What do you learn as an Eagle Scout? I imagine you learn how to. I don't think you hunt. You just know how to survive in the wilderness very well. So it's to be representative of mental fortitude. It's like, all right, well, I don't know. I never really got into it. I never liked camping.
No, God no. My parents didn't do it because they were city kids themselves, so they never went anywhere.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And then people, you wouldn't believe the positive things people have to say about it, though. It's people do really get invested in that. There's another thing like summer camp, like going away. You don't hear about people being like obsessed with summer camp or something they were doing. Mostly Jews. I think that's the only people who are really doing that.
Summer camp.
But I went to some of them summer camps.
Did you like it?
I went to the same one for 2 years. My parents shipped me off at 9 years old, and it was 8 weeks at a time. So it's like you're just away from home in Pennsylvania for 8 weeks in the mountains with a bunch of Jews, and it was a little. It was like, wow, this is a long time, man. Especially as a little kid, I was like, when does this fucking end? But the first year was good. I made a lot of friends. Second year, went back, same friends essentially. I'm 10, and this was my first experience in life where like. I'd never been not cool before, but like all of a sudden, like nobody liked me, nobody wanted to be buddies with me.
What did you do wrong?
I don't know, man. I had such a terrible summer. At the end of the summer, another kid in my cabin won Camper of the Year trophy. They do a trophy thing, best archery, best whatever.
Oh, okay.
Like there's a ceremony at the end, And he won camper, I guess like all camper of the year. I stole his trophy. And I hid it in my duffel bag, and I went home with it, and I told my parents I won it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And then
were they proud?
I think so.
Or they were like, all right, whatever.
I think they.
That would have been funny if you were like, you steal, and they're like, I don't care.
Well, to complicate
We still
it,
think you're gay. We don't care. Well, I hope they didn't. I hope they.
I didn't deserve to be complimented on, and obviously I'd stolen it.
Right, but all the same, I mean, you're looking for approval. You might as well get it.
So I think they said something about it that they were good. The point is, like a month later, they sent home like a pamphlet about like what happened at camp that summer, and the other kid's name was obviously under because they didn't just take the trophy away from him because he lost the trophy. He still at least gets the honorific. And then they're like, why is this kid Michael's name here for best camper when you won the trophy? I remember them asking me that. And I was like, oh, that was a misprint. They told me that was going to happen or something like that. My parents.
At least you were clever.
Nah, my parents, maybe they were just living in a world of lies at that point. Like, and I was telling them a lot of lies. I don't know. Do you lie as a kid?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to steal stuff.
Yeah, me too. What'd you steal?
Like I remember stealing like toys like that I wanted, and I would steal them. I think I would return them, but yeah, I would steal other kids' toys. So like I want them,
Oh shit! What age would this be? You think?
7, 8.
Oh.
I wouldn't, and that kind of like I used to like stealing smaller stuff from like candy and stuff, but that it didn't really blow it. It kind of stopped after a while. I was just so nervous about it. So you get caught a few times, like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah. Did you get caught?
Yeah. I forget how.
From stealing from a person or stealing from like a store?
I think it's from a person, not from a store. The store never happened. Luckily, it's very Sneaky.
I was not big on stealing from people. I'd always I stole from stores constantly, like CDs and books and things like that.
Oh, really?
Stole stuff from school. That microphone that you're, being recorded by, I stole from my high school. As well
this
as,
one?
Yeah, as well as the cable connected to it, as well as the microphone I'm holding.
Why the microphone?
I was trying to record music at home, and I was trying to mic my drum set and do vocal mics and stuff like that. And I was in like after school plays, and so we were just always backstage in the theater of the school, and it's a little embarrassing because I really did steal a lot of stuff. But
Isn't it like a control thing?
I brought I really wanted the stuff.
Right.
And I was also thought that it was the school, this is from high school. I was like, oh, I'll steal it. It'll get amortized amongst all the taxpayers in the neighborhood or whatever, and we'll get some new equipment. I don't know. I just wanted it and I took it. Anyway, along those, what your original thing reminded me of.
I think the statute of limitations are up, so I think you can talk about it freely. That's good.
I stole more recently when I was working at Google, but maybe I'll save that story for 3 years from now or something. But I stole a saxophone from school because I thought it was the school's saxophone. It was like it was sitting out near the music room. I was like, oh, I want a saxophone. So I put it in a bag or whatever. Anyway, I found out the next day that it was this kid's Phil saxophone. I was like, shit, I stole this real person's saxophone. I didn't feel good about that.
Did you give it back?
Gave it back. Put it back in front of the music room, right where I'd found it from. He got it back in his hands. Anyway, somebody's come over to my house to play music. I don't know, a few months later. They're like, "Oh, is this Phil's metronome?" He had his name carved in the back of the metronome. I had accidentally taken it out of the thing and forgotten to put it back into his case or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think anybody ever put two and two together, but I guess I did end up stealing his metronome.
Well, I don't know. The metronome, they're not an expensive piece. I have to feel so bad about it.
No, and I did it by accident, so it was a real accident.
Phil probably has enough money anyway. He has enough money for a saxophone. He has enough money for another metronome.
This is a pretty Tony public school. You go to public school or private school?
Public school.
Yeah. That's cool. How was that like?
It was good. I liked it. It was fine. Yeah, public school's good. It teaches you, Did you ever bully anybody?
No. What about you?
No, there was a totem pole. You take some shots. This one kid, he dressed up like Sherlock Holmes. He must have been like 11, 12, like Sherlock Holmes for Halloween. And it's like, what? Do you think you're better than everybody? It was definitely that vibe of like, we know you don't like Sherlock Holmes. Like, why are you doing this?
Right.
It's also like kids.
Doing it?
I have no idea. Yeah. I'm sure he's very successful now, though.
Because he's willing to make bold moves like that.
Yeah, bold moves. He's not afraid to look like an asshole and get abused for it. So I think that goes a long way in life.
I think you're right about that. No, I ate some shit.
You ate like actual shit? That'd be
that's
great.
Right. No, I fucking...
Feces, I like scab.
No, I've never even been tempted.
No,
Sometimes just looking at shit would never even... I don't care what it looks like. I've never seen the type of shit that I was interested in eating or having on me for
even
some
if
reason.
It was in a fashion of a hamburger, I wouldn't eat it. If it was,
There's no way you could dress it up, I admit. There's that Norm Macdonald joke. It's like, no river so long doesn't have a bend in it. Or, I'll clean my own toilets and stuff. I'm not above touching shit in some respects. But
thank God.
I don't get any pleasure from it.
No, that's good. I've never gotten. That's one thing, you don't understand that. Almost the opposite. Yeah. It's almost as if I am repulsed by shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's healthy,
I don't come to you for for checks and balances on my personality, Mr. Revello.
It does seem like it sometimes.
Does it really? I know, I'm so needy. It's true. It's a curse.
Telling me about your thefts, and then you want me to say it's fine. You know what? And it's okay. You know what? So what? You stole. Who cares?
This is what I was hunting for. Yeah.
It's the man stuff. You return. So in some regard, you have honor. There's honor amongst thieves. Look at Jason Dennis.
The ultimate example of the honorable thief.
Exactly.
The modern day Robin Hood. Shit. I don't know. I've really chilled out with stealing now. I don't do it anymore.
That's good.
Although I still steal like TV and music from the internet, which I think is
it's
like
like benign
as
neglect.
anything else.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not. It's not like just watching and doing nothing or something. I'm hunting it out and getting things. So what?
I like that you steal stuff, though. I think it's interesting. Like, it's better that than, you know, other things, you know? I'd rather have that as, like, if all the commandments
Yep.
that you're going to break, that's, you know, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
There's plenty of the commandments are fine.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
exactly.
even coveting things I think is fine.
That's true.
I think.
Did you have a Seder?
Yeah, sure.
Did you go?
Oh, you mean like for this thing? No, Passover? No.
Well, recently, yeah.
My mom called me to wish me a happy Passover. I didn't even call her back. That's what a noble thief I am.
Good.
I fucking don't. I don't do any of the Jewish stuff.
No.
There's one Yom Kippur where you're supposed to fast the whole day.
Is that when you throw rocks? Not throw rocks.
Throw rocks at
But you know, isn't it like you talk? Nah, see, it sounds like I'm belittling it, but I'm not. When it's like you don't talk to a rock, but isn't it something like a rock represents something like a sin? You throw it into the water and you say goodbye, sin, or something like that.
Rosh Hashanah is the New Year, which comes right before, and then Yom Kippur is the Day of Atonement. I don't know what you're talking about specifically, but I'm not counting it out. It could just be an Orthodox thing to do, or just something I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, no, I've seen. It wasn't. I don't think it was Orthodox because there was a synagogue right near where I grew up, which is weird. Which is this like synagogue in Staten Island, Tottenville. Like it's such like an Italian Catholic place to have a synagogue there. But hey, we were pleased as punch.
So you didn't burn it down or nothing, right?
No. You know, we just spit every time we saw it on the ground. This was a nice neighborhood. That's what everyone was saying. It was a nice neighborhood until they moved in, and everyone knew who they.
Is that what they were talking about?
No, I don't think that never came up.
I can imagine if like those ultra-Orthodox or the Hasidic Jews moved in, I'd be freaked out by that. Like people in outfits, you know?
Yeah, then
Something
it'd become...
people in outfits is a little beyond the pale for me.
Yeah,
even
like,
Jews with the little hats is like, if they're all wearing them, it's a pretty, it's too much for me.
Yeah, I know. I always try to talk to Hasids, and they don't want it. They don't want to chat.
Yeah.
You know what? I get it.
Well, there's that one day a year, or there's one holiday where they come up to you and they're trying to like wrap things around you and get you to pray with them and stuff like that.
Yeah, scary.
Then they're your best friend. All
right.
of a sudden, it's all the conversation you want. The rest of the year, you can go fuck yourself. Like, and then they're like looking back at you, like, "What are you looking at?" It's like, you know what I'm looking at. You look fucking. You're in an outfit.
It's pretty interesting too. Like, I remember I was at the mall. I was doing some Christmas shopping, and this kid came up. He's like, "Are you Jewish?" And I said, "No, I'm sorry." He's like, "Oh no, that's okay." No, I thought that was so funny. He's like, "No, it's all right." You know, I felt bad that I wasn't Jewish.
No harm, no foul. Well, you want
Right.
to help them out if you can. It's like human empathy, I guess.
Right. I wish I was. In this moment, I wish I was Jewish.
Just so I could do whatever it is that
Yeah.
the crazy thing.
You know, throw rocks. You know,
Throw rocks.
Whatever. But yeah, so I went to I did.
I'd be a little shakier about that as a stereotype than you seem to be, because I'm Jewish and I've not heard high nor hair of this rock throw.
Well, listen, let me tell you.
I hope that disabuses you in some way to repeat that.
Oh no, I'm going to continue to say. I'm going to continue to say on many podcasts.
Ducks back, huh? No.
You know those Jews? They just love throwing rocks.
Throwing rocks. I was over to Jason's house. He was throwing rocks all over the place.
Yeah, but yeah, I went to a Seder.
Yep.
I catered the event, and it's like any other thing, any religious holiday, family gets together, kids look bored.
Yeah, sure.
You know, family's there, whatever. And then what was interesting is that they had these masks that I don't know. One was like a frog mask. Mm-hmm. There was another one that was, I think it was like locust, and then there was one that said. It said firstborn.
Yeah.
So it was firstborn, and there were X's over the. It was like so funny that they have like a mask that a kid could put on, and it's like
death of the first.
Just dressing up like a dead Egyptian boy.
Dead Jewish Egyptian boy. Oh no, I guess just regular.
Not
Egyptian boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
part of the plague.
Well, I guess they weren't Muslim because it was barely Judaism yet. So they
No,
couldn't have been
yeah,
Muslim.
no, they were pagans. They were godless people.
There's some kind of sun worshipping thing.
Yeah, those Egyptians had it coming.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, my thing is enough's enough with these. Yeah.
Even to this day.
Yeah.
You don't let a grudge go, huh?
No.
It's like, even though it was 3,000, 7,000 years ago, whatever.
Was it that long ago?
I don't know. Like, when did the pyramids come from? I think they're the only surviving modern of the ancient, modern wonder of the ancient. What am I saying? Fuck it. Wonder of the world that still survives.
Yes. Yeah, the Egyptians, though, huh?
Yeah.
It's a fine group to not like. The ancient Egypt, I think it's good not, you can get away with not liking a certain group as long as they've been dead and buried for a long time. So
Hittite, anything like that.
Don't get me started.
I think you're in trouble though when it's like, because we still call them the same thing. Credit to them, man, that they've been Egypt for such a long time.
That's true.
It's like the United States hasn't been the United States for as long. I mean, Egypt's been Egypt for whatever it is, thousands of years. That's pretty cool. They got a good brand on that.
Strong branding, Egypt. Very good. Wish there was like a black or something I can do an outline with. Maybe the burnt umber. Is that dark enough?
Black? I don't, there's no black in any of them?
Well, I guess, there's another set of acrylic.
Oh, yeah, as much as...
There's Earl.
You want new water
Black.
or soda or anything like that?
No, I'm just happy to be here. Shooting the shit.
That's right.
Shooting the shit.
I don't know if I was catching a parched vibe.
Yeah. There's something in my painting that shows that I'm dehydrated.
Doesn't look well hydrated enough.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the most popular. This is probably like the most well-known bossa nova. This is
Oh,
like
yeah,
the girl from Ipanema.
Yeah.
Judaism. I feel like it's more. I like Judaism though. Like more. The more I learn about it.
Oh, yeah? What do you like about it?
It's more like a questioning. I don't know. It's more of an intellectual endeavor than like Catholicism. Like Christianity, it's like the text. It's like the hierarchy is annoying, Whereas like the priest tells you he's like this mediator, and it's like, well, he's just a man, and I think it's like encourages a passiveness. You just listen to what the priest says, and he'll guide you and stuff. And it's like it's just annoying.
The experience of growing up Jewish is, I think, very similar. Were you Catholic?
Mm-hmm.
It's, I think, very similar to Catholic because the majority of the prayers are in a foreign language, and then the religious leader or whatever will do a little sermonizing in English. But you, I don't know, like, would you do Latin prayers or whatever?
No, Latin.
Everything was in English?
Yeah, Latin went out in the 70s.
I didn't know if that was just for some Catholics or for everybody.
No, in the 70s it goes. I mean, sometimes they'll do mass in Latin, but they felt like, well, they're just alienating the shit out of people using languages that nobody knows.
Well, Jews need to hear that lesson loud and clear, man, because like it's boring to just say a bunch of shit that you don't understand.
Sounds. Yeah.
And maybe you understand some of it just sounds. And what I hated I went to Hebrew school for 5 years, twice a week. And then from like 7 to 13 or 8 to 13 or whatever. And they teach you how to read Hebrew, but they wouldn't teach you what any of the words meant. So they would just
Really?
So they teach you how to pronounce all the letters and all the vowels and so on. But they would, there was no expectation that you knew what anything meant whatsoever. A few words, of course, you knew what God was, and king, and bread, and wine, and
Palestinian.
ICBM, whatever.
Pig. I don't know. I can't translate it. How do you feel about the two things? Listen, hey, to each their own. That's what I say.
Oh, that's why I try to live, for sure.
So now you're a godless man. You have nothing. You feel. You have...
Oh yeah. I'd say nihilism.
Really?
Yeah, like everything in life is meaningless, and no God, no none of that.
The meaningless thing is.
No.
So I mean, you have a nice place for a nihilist, though. I gotta say.
Sure.
For someone.
Oh well, the second half of it is like there's emotions,
Okay.
and emotions are not real either, but they convince you that life is real. And the more intensely emotional you're feeling something, the more real and legitimate life seems to be. Now, that's an illusion, but it's sort of all that there is as far as being alive. And so I sort of, I don't know, worship emotions, or I think a lot about emotions.
I like the painting aspect of this, right? Because it's real high stakes. That's what it is. I've already done a foundation. I'm not really done with this yet, but it's like the lines of drawing a face or something is oof.
Do you want a pencil or
So much pressure.
Like
Oh, you know what?
yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm gonna fill that in. Oh, thank you. You know what I watched the other night I liked a lot? You ever see Midnight in Paris?
Yeah, I did.
It was great. I liked it a lot.
I agree, it was good. People talk a lot of shit about those late period Woody Allen movies, the recent things.
That was a good one.
I thought that was a good one. I thought Match Point was good. I thought Cristina Barcelona was good.
That was another good one. And no one was doing like a Woody Allen impression, really. I mean, you know,
I like that
in the
too.
beginning of Midnight in Paris, Owen Wilson was doing that little like, oh, you know, that very sort of neurotic thing.
Right.
And then it subsided. I don't know if you noticed that, but it seemed to kind of go away.
Who was doing it?
Owen Wilson. In the beginning.
Oh, yes.
The setting up and...
Yeah, as the movie went on, I think that part of him became less important. But he was definitely doing some version of that.
Oh,
as,
yeah.
You know, like you said, at the top of the movie. And now, like, it's like Jesse Eisenberg was in a movie where he was basically doing the Woody Allen part or whatever.
Yeah,
we don't need that character.
No.
Like, I also thought Blue Jasmine was good. I don't know if you saw that. And
I didn't
think
see
Kate
Blue.
Blanchett was in that. She did. That was really great.
We're up to take 5 now.
Yeah. Yeah. If you ever want to change courses, let me know.
What do you like?
Man, I like rap and punk rock.
Oh, really?
And
What punk rock, like what? Like post-punk? Like
No
like
Offense
Dead
and Bad Religion.
Oh, that's later, a little later on.
Yeah.
What about the Dead Kennedys? You like the Dead Kennedys?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not crazy about his voice, Jello Biafra's voice. And then
I don't think there are many punk bands that have, you know,
the most beautiful voices
sonorous.
in the world. No, but there are certainly some that are. I mean, Henry Rollins sort of has the worst voice in music, for instance, like Black Flag. Yeah, I mean, it's just when he's screaming, he sounds kind of cool screaming, but I don't even think he can carry a tune.
Yeah, the ballads by Black Flag are not very good.
Brother. So that's a little tough to listen to. What's other shit like that?
Not recommend.
I liked. Fuck, you know, there's, I guess, a truth to getting older where you kind of listen to less new music. I was a big fan of Fiona Apple.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Fucking, what else did I like? Folk music and,
Folk, never really got into folk.
yeah.
What
was so popular when I was in high school was the Fish, Dave Matthews Band variety of music, which for some reason I got the worst taste in my mouth about that type of music, and I just can't enjoy it on any level.
I think Dave Matthews Band sucks. There are a few songs I do like. I can't help. I don't know why. I like that song Satellite.
Yeah.
It's not a good song. I don't know why I like it, but I do. But
there's that horn part in Ants March, and it's like dun, 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 dun. I can kind of recognize that's like a catchy progression or whatever. If I look at things on the microscopic level, talk about
a glowing review. I can understand. I can see.
Really, that's where I'm at. And especially there was, I guess that came out at the same time as Rage Against the Machine, and
more into that. I don't know.
I was so much more into Rage Against the Machine, and Cake had an album out, Fashion Nugget, that I was really obsessed with.
Fashion
Nugget. Yeah. They had that song, The Distance.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that was on that album. Damn.
Yeah, imagine being in Cake. Just like, they have like those 3 songs and...
I know.
Oh, jeez.
I've been to a couple of their concerts. They played at my college, and then I went to another one out in New Jersey. They, I mean, as far as they're concerned, they have a lot of songs.
Right, exactly.
I mean, the rest of the albums are fair game, in their opinion. You play any music?
No, I tried playing the bass for about a good 2 months, and then it just stopped. I don't know, I didn't have the discipline. But
if there's no natural joy in it, I can't imagine sticking with it.
Yeah, I mean, there was some. I mean, I was really into like it was the bass, so I tried to play some cool. I was really into Joy Division and more like that post-punk stuff. So it's very bass, do, and I was like, oh, I could try that. And my friend played music. He plays in a band, but it just didn't stick.
Huh. Is that ever any kind of fantasy of yours to like be a musician or to be in a band or things like that?
No, it was just another way to express yourself.
Right.
It was only comedy. I just wish I stuck with it for. So I first did stand up when I was like 16.
Yeah, what happened?
The nerves, and I wasn't. It's like there's not much of a scene in Staten Island, and you really need.
What did you do? How did you do it?
I don't know. I was into stand up, and then. My mom was very sweet. Like, she just bought me like stand-up classes.
Okay.
And it's like, who knows how to get into it. So I took it, and it was all right.
Were they in Staten Island or in Manhattan?
No, they were in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And then like the finale was like a show, it was a bringer at Caroline's. Now I know all these things.
Nice, man. If I had to do a bringer somewhere, that's at least a nice stage to get up on.
Right, exactly. As good as any.
You take your picture in front of the marquee. That looks better than.
Yeah, it was cool.
Everywhere. Pretty basic. It's a good club.
So I did that. It was horrible. I was so scared, but I liked it. I mean, it's something I knew I wanted to do.
How'd you write your material then? How'd you do your material?
Kind of like what I do now is just write out. Like, I have a point of view, and then like you kind of like it's like sounds. You can kind of know what words come together. So like I always had like an intuition with this sort of thing, but.
As in, like, the right way to say something, like you'll know, like you'll have a 2 or 3 or 4 word string together that sounds like.
Yeah, it's not like
mellifluous or something, and you'll be able to.
Yeah, it's not a very strict. I don't have like a very Then I wasn't even aware of like the set up punchline, and then like misdirect and surprise ending or anything like that. I didn't know anything about that. But yeah, I wish I just kept doing it because I the first show was okay. Mm-hmm. And then I got asked to do a second Springer show. I was like, all right, well, not everybody from the class is being asked, so you should be. I'm like, oh, okay. And the second one, I just didn't prepare enough. If I knew there were open mics, I would have gone to open mics and stuff, but I just didn't know, And then it wasn't fun. And after that, it just kind of...
I don't know if there'd be a lot of joy in being a 16-year-old kid at the open mics consistently either, man.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of joy being a 27-year-old kid at the open mics.
No, the joy is not going to be found in the stand-up open mic.
Yeah.
But there was something I never stopped writing. At least that was like a plus. I always had like ideas like, oh, that's funny, or like that's funny. So, luckily, I never stopped writing.
It's funny you say about like how you did it the same way when you were 16 as when you're now.
Yeah.
Because I guess you're like mid-20s or something like that.
Yeah, I'm 26.
There you go. So, like I took like I'd lay in my bed at night and I'd like look at the lamp and I'll be like lamp joke, lamp joke, lamp joke.
I feel like that's a
and
good
I'll
way
try
to
like
about it.
Yeah, I think so too. It's a good exercise. But like the jokes that I came up with were pretty much always dirty, and they were always like fully written out jokes. Like I always had fully written, and I wrote them out in longhand, the entirety of the joke, which is still to this day the way I write my jokes. So that's a funny thing that you get away in your head about doing it.
Yeah, it's like you can't just stop doing it that way.
Not without a real hard concerted effort, man. Maybe if you were like, I'm only gonna ad-lib things on stage.
I never got that.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy to me. People like I write on stage. I was like, no way. I need to go up there and know what I'm saying, have an idea, and then after that you can maybe tag it up. But to go up there and just wing it, no way.
It's also insanely impractical. How many open mics are you doing a day? You're doing 10 minutes of writing maximum or whatever.
That's true.
A day, because that's all the time you have to write, right?
That's very true.
So it's like, it's so, one thing if you're doing an hour, 3 shows a night every week or whatever.
Then right away on
then
stage.
Yeah, then right on there, or do all your writing on stage. That's a good strategy, but at this point, that seems idiotic.
No, it doesn't.
Well, if it's the only way you could do it, or if it really is the most effective method to you, maybe 10 minutes on stage is much better than 3 hours sitting there with a notebook. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you can figure it out.
Yeah.
On the notebook. I mean, you just kind of have to know. That's what's kind of good about stand-up is like you get in it. You don't have to wait around for somebody to read it, or you just kind of bring it to somebody and it works right away.
Yeah.
It's like instantaneous sort of thing. I see a lot of people who are good on Twitter.
Yeah.
I've seen them live and like some of the kids, and it's like, boy, you just have no presence on stage, but you have 30,000 Twitter followers, so you got me beat by 30,000.
Yeah, what's 30,000 minus 30?
Well done.
Well, I guess I don't begrudge them their success in that medium if they're good on Twitter. I guess I try not to begrudge anybody anything. I find myself so resentful sometimes, and I have to really. That's when a bell starts ringing in my head, and it's like, what are you doing here? This is crazy.
Yeah.
First of all, like, you're an old man, and a lot of these people are children. Like, it's like, how mad am I going to be at some 19-year-olds because they have something that I want so bad? They got on this show I want it so bad. It's like you have to. I know age is whatever. Maybe I think about that too much, but but it's still. You need some checks and balances in your head, otherwise you go crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to get better with not talking shit. Honestly, That's a real hard thing to do, though.
So fun, man. I love saying bad things about people when they're not around. But I use it sparingly. I mean... And I'm much more likely to do it about people I... is that true? I don't think, no, that's true.
Well, they're talking shit about people you like?
Yeah, that I like, because, and then, like, criticize deeply the things that I find bad about. That might be true, but I also really enjoy talking badly about people I don't like. Subdividing it unnecessarily.
I like that, though. You talk shit about people you like. I like that, because it's, the conversation's more interesting. It's like, yeah, I like them, but...
Right. Well, it's funny about comedy. You meet some people who are talented comedians, and you like that about them, and then they have some other characteristics that are obviously positive, but I don't know. It's a lot of half-formed people walking around, I guess.
I guess you get that everywhere.
Sure.
Yeah, it's trouble.
You have any other dream besides comedy?
No, not really. It's just like, I don't know. What do you mean, like children and stuff?
I don't mean that. I mean, or unless that's the way you're taking it so strongly.
It could be somebody's dream.
Yeah. Oh man, I know my buddy's wife. She was like, she really wanted kids.
Did she get them?
She got them.
That's good. I was like hearing about that.
Yeah, I did too, man. And she's a great mother, and everything worked out great. She didn't have some unhealthy obsession or something like that. Right, it was just like, it was a real important thing that she wanted to do in her life, and she knew that about herself. I don't meet as many men like that.
No,
and I don't even meet a ton of women like that, frankly.
No. But I think it's kind of like, well, not in New York.
Yeah.
For some reason in New York, it's kind of lame to want to, give into biological impulses.
Right.
So, but they do anyway. They do it at 40 instead of 25. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be among them. I think if I ever do have kids, like you got to date for a while and then have a kid after you get married and then blah blah blah.
I think it's more of a.
I'll be pushing 40 for sure.
But that's more of like as a man, that seems to be more acceptable, and I feel like women feel more pressure.
Yeah. Were your parents young or old when they had you?
My mom was 28, I think, 29.
Okay. Yeah, same. Like
my dad was like 32.
Yeah.
So that was,
pretty traditional.
Pretty traditional.
You only child? Or you got kids?
I got a brother, older brother, and a younger sister, so I'm in the middle. Siblings are cool. It's better now.
Than when you were kids?
Yeah, you used to fight all the time, but but now it's great. Everyone gets along.
I was always jealous, man. My best buddy had 2 siblings, and it just looked great.
Yeah, you're jealous as an only child?
It looked fun like that. My parents also fought like crazy, you know.
Oh, it sucks.
And there's just a thing that you're the only person in the house with like these people screaming at each other.
And you're just like taking it in.
Yeah, you're in the car,
Sucks.
and then you just become like the fucking suitcase in the back.
That's
while
what it is.
they're in the car for like 7 hours driving to Ocean City, Maryland, fucking just like screaming the whole way down.
That's great.
And because you become easy to forget about, and you got nobody to look at. Like, yo, this is fucked up, right? Like,
Right, exactly.
So it becomes, maybe if things are a little more lighthearted.
That recognition of like, this is fucked up, right? That's really important to have somebody to look to. That's kind of good.
For sure. Although on the other hand, like when you got nobody to look to, like you could put up with more shit, I think, because you don't know where the line is so much, or you have no. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't say one way or the other.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
You know.
You like have an idea if you were gonna have kids, like whether you'd want to do how many?
No idea.
Yeah.
I can't even think about it.
Sometimes people feel strongly like I definitely wouldn't have an only child.
I don't know.
Because they wouldn't want them to be lonely or
It's
something.
also, I think it's sometimes just like a ridiculous thing to be like, I want this many kids. Like, well, you really don't have the choice in the matter sometimes. It's kind of funny. You're like, oh, I'm going to like plan this perfect life. And it's like, oh, but one kid has...
Then it's miscarriage after miscarriage.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then you get the name Miscarriage Manny. And then, you know, and it's like, you don't say that around my wife. And, you know, like we can have fun at the bar, but you really can't say that around her.
Uh-huh.
She starts crying. No, I don't know. No, I don't know. Yeah, no kids. Sometimes it's like, why, you know? But I can see. I think it's a very like narcissistic thing. Like, well, I can carry on. Like you do live on through your kids because like you just implant it. I'm finding. I'm sure you have too. That you have like certain behaviors that your parents used to do.
Oh yeah.
And it's coming out.
I've been pursing my lips in a way where I'm not even looking in the mirror seeing myself do it, but I'm like, I know I look like my dad pursing his lips that way too.
It's horrible.
And I didn't like it the way he did it, and now I'm upset that I'm doing it too involuntarily.
Yep.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's weird.
Very.
Well, I gotta finish this up.
Do it. Make sure it's good, because I don't want it.
You don't want shit on the wall.
I don't want it to not look good. I want it to be good. Also, I'm gonna have to give you a compliment at the end, and I'd like to
make it real.
I want a few shades of we're being recorded, so I want a few shades of sincerity in my voice when I fucking tell you it looks good.
No, it's good. No, I like it. Looks you did the lines. You really did. You really drew something.
I really understood what you were going for here.
Yeah.
You had an idea and you communicated it, and that's what matters. It's definitely a metaphorical representation of the human condition here. Yeah, I wonder, you think what would you do if comedy didn't work out and stuff? I think I could have maybe been like an electrical engineer or...
That's interesting.
I don't know. Something else to be... I was like electricity and
Oh, really?
Yeah, or maybe I'd just be an electrician, you know? Like, I don't know why I got to do all this math and shit. Just
I think that's noble enough, you know? I don't see why... People get too... I don't know. I think that's the problem in New York, too. Like, blue-collar guys get a lot of disrespect, you know? They feel like there's no... Like, it's beautiful in its own way. Like, laying brick can be beautiful if you do it well. And it's like looked down upon.
You have any blue-collar jobs?
Do I?
Did you, or do you now?
I work as a mover, so I guess that's blue. I get paid in cash. I lift heavy shit, so...
Yeah,
I sweat a lot.
That's all the requirements.
Right, exactly. I curse and stuff, and I whistle at ladies and
broads,
yeah, right,
sure.
exactly. I chase skirts. That's what we call it in the truck. We chase skirts, and we talk about how Mexicans are ruining the country. So it's a very fun.
I talk about that a lot too.
Yeah, but I don't need a truck for that.
That's my other podcast.
Right?
I do a solo. I do that too. Yeah, I listen to my own music and I talk about how fucking
a lot of
problems.
Punk rock. I always think it's so funny. Like this one comedian. I saw him do road work or whatever. and he was like the punk comedian, right? Like I'm the punk comedian. Alter. It was called the I don't know what's the name of the tour, but the name was the crazy tour, like and all right, and his closing bit is about how millennials are the worst generation, and I'm like, yeah, there's nothing more punk rock than not understanding the people who come after you. You're right, that's pretty punk rock to think that millennials are a trophy generation. Crazy. So no matter how punk rock you are, you turn into your father.
Can I tell you, man? That fucking trophy thing is like the dumbest meme. I did grow up in the generation where I got a trophy for participating in all of my fucking sports and shit. I just told you I was playing all these sports before. I didn't think that was good. I didn't think those were good trophies.
Yeah.
I still understood the difference between that and winning. It's the dumbest fucking argument.
It's a very good point. Yeah.
If they hadn't given me the trophy, I wouldn't have been like, yo, where's my trophy? This is like shit to make parents happy, obviously. It's because those fucking boomer parents were like, felt like they were mistreated or something and wanted all their kids to have trophies.
See, I think it's more of a money thing. Like, I think it's like, well, you paid this much for fucking, $800 or whatever it is to sign your kid up to Little League. You might as well get a little trinket.
I think that's the other part of it, yeah.
It's a money thing.
Yeah. You're right.
So you feel
kind of rounds out the experience.
Right.
There's a couple pizza parties, a little trophy at the end.
Exactly.
Now we got ourselves an event going.
Right. Now,
yeah, that's worth 3 months of your time. My poor parents, too, had to come to all these fucking practices and shit. Watch their kid suck shit. I didn't understand. I think it's because everything was going good in other aspects of my life. Like, I was good at school, and I had lots of friends and stuff.
Oh, were you good at school?
And I think my parents just wanted me to, like, eat a little shit. That's a conspiracy theory.
Humility.
I'm sure that's... Yeah, I don't think that's true. What about you? Were you good at school?
No, not like
Seem like
bad.
a smart guy? You think you come off like a smart guy? Like people think you're probably smart?
I think I keep quiet enough for people to make that mistake. That's what it is. You don't start offering your opinions until someone asks. And even then, you give some sort of, some may feel this way, or therefore, and thus. I mean, my God, works like gangbusters.
Jeez.
I see. That's a good one, too. True, very true. Yes. Valid points.
This is the whole...
Right, these little things.
We're going to cut this part out of the fucking show and make it its own little $5 paywall lesson.
Yeah, how to make it seem like you're not a complete fucking moron. Shut up.
Yeah.
And let people talk.
The reason I say in contrast, because when you're on stage, you're speaking for some length of time. You're the only one talking, and then you seem cogent and coherent, and things are...
oh yeah, I'm a big thinker.
Well, you have ideas, and you're expressing your ideas clearly and stuff like that.
That's all stand-up is. I feel like that's one thing I learned kind of early on, was just like, it is about being funny.
Right.
But it's also about communicating very well,
Yep.
Expressing an idea is so important in stand-up. And if you can't do it, you're fucked. No matter how funny it is, if you can't get it out of your mouth.
I listened to some Chris Rock interview, and he was saying, because they were talking about why he repeats his premises so much, is like...
How do you mean?
Well, he'll go into a bit, and he'll be like, single and... no, what am I saying? Married and bored, single and lonely. You are either married and bored, or you are single and lonely. I'm telling you, people, you can be married, but that's boring. But if you're single, and he'll set up his bits this way, And his thing, and he'd been criticized by it, or somebody was asking him about it, and he's like, a lot of the times the reason people aren't funny is because you don't understand the point is of what the fuck they're talking about.
It's a very good, it's very true.
True enough.
Very good, Chris Rock, very astute.
Yeah, it's like
you're going to make it. You got a good head on your shoulders, guy.
I know.
You're going far.
Well, but even then, a lot of people make good points, but they don't really weigh on anything that you do, or they don't, there's nothing you can do with the information.
I think that's what Ryan D needs to do. Ryan needs to communicate his ideas better, because he's got funny all over, but he's just sometimes you get lost in the premise or whatever he's trying to say.
Yeah, he also needs to have more material. He's the funniest fucking kid I can imagine, man. When he is on a roll of his physicality along with what he's saying, and you're saying he's communicating well and everything. God, he's like a supernova. But I just want that all the time. I'm always disappointed that I'm not. He set the bar too high, unfortunately.
Yeah, communication is key.
Yeah.
Do you have like a best night in stand up so far? Do you have something you look back on? You're like, okay, that was good.
Just recently, I did Metropolitan Room. This kid, Allie Klein, did a show there.
Yeah, I know. I met Allie.
Yeah.
I remember Allie from all over, and he just doesn't, it just doesn't come up that your dad's Robert Klein.
Oh. Well, yes, I did know that about him.
You did know that? I didn't know.
Yeah, I knew that about him pretty quickly, and I don't remember how I heard it.
But in Eastville, I remember seeing him, and he was like, "Oh, this guy's really funny,
Yeah.
and he's cool to be around, and he's like unassuming and nice."
Yeah.
And then you just find out that he's related to
Comedy Royalty or something like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Robert Klein was at the show, which was nice.
Did he critique you?
He did.
Did he really?
Yeah. And he,
That's so
in the
valuable.
middle of my act,
Oh.
I,
Oh, that's not good.
Then afterward,
And then
he like
middle of your
waved
act,
me
he was
over.
like-
As soon as I got off stage, he waved me over to talk to me, and then he talked to me again like afterward. We were standing around. So I got plenty of Robert Klein FaceTime or whatever.
Wow.
He didn't like it. The nature of the joke was,
Gay people.
yeah, that's right.
Disgusting.
You know how most of my jokes go.
Right. Which one is it? Is it one about gays?
First of all,
or-
what is it about gay people I don't like? Second of all, let's think of some wordplay. Yeah, so it was about a joke about the labia minora, like the inside pussy lips, And then I made a joke about like that's I didn't go to my mom's house for Hanukkah because of her labia minora.
Oh,
And
okay.
that the joke is about how she, puts candles in her pussy, and then that's her menorah, And it's a labia minora. You get it? It's like a pun.
I like it.
Yeah, it's funny. His point to what we're saying, man, is he thought I didn't communicate it clearly enough. That it wasn't I had to set up the idea of what a labia minora was better, so that people could understand the joke. And in fairness to him, nobody laughed at it when I said it, but like he literally, like I said the joke and he's like, oh, that's a funny joke, like he like said it out loud. Anyway, my parents were there, and I also got a 13-minute tape out of it, and I also did well, and it was a nice, not a full room, but like a 75% full room, and it was that was a real fun, positive experience. My dad had seen me bomb twice before, and so like having him see me do good was validating in some way, for sure. Both my parents.
When did that happen? That was recently?
Yeah, that was like a month or so ago.
Oh, what?
Like a month ago or so.
That's cool. Yeah, are you friendly with Allie? Because I feel like I don't see him around anymore, and I imagine it has to do with, again, him just being like, I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to be around. I can just do shows.
I do find that suspicious how he gets to just predict. It might. Sometimes I think it's just balls. Like if you'd be willing to ask to do something, maybe any of us could do. We're just like we're not so highfalutin to think we deserve it or something. And then, but then yes, I don't know what the deal is. But yeah. I saw him at that show. I haven't seen him since then, but we'll text occasionally.
I always thought he was funny. Yeah.
Yes, he's funny. He's a nice guy. What do you think? Would you tell people that your dad was fucking like a real comedian? What's the most?
What's the
most ethical and,
way to not say,
obnoxious way to do that?
Right. It's like, don't you know who my father is? You don't want to do that.
Well, we'll check that off the list. Yes, we don't want to do that.
I don't know. I guess there's really no way to. I guess you're right, but I would change your last name then. Well, I guess not.
No, why? Not if it's your real last name. There's already plenty of those fucking Weasley motherfuckers who aren't using their real names on stage or whatever. Their names are impronounceable or something like that.
Even at our level, it's so funny because I'll be talking with somebody and you think you make headway and you're like, wow, we're really connecting as a person.
Right.
And then you learn that it's not their name. You don't even know their name. So it's like, oh, your real name isn't gross. It's
Right.
actually, it's usually something disgusting, like fish kiss or something. But yeah, that's super weird. You're like, oh, no, I don't know you at all. You're right.
Then there's a thing like Jerry Seinfeld hated his dad. Not Jerry Seinfeld. Jon Stewart hated his dad.
Oh.
And so like he changed his name from some, Leibovitz or whatever it was to Stewart because I guess he just never wanted to honor his father or something.
Jeez.
Which I think is also a little too intense.
I'll never honor my father. I'll never do it. You can't make me.
And he's right, they couldn't.
Or you can just throw your life away. I mean, that's also another way to,
Yeah,
bring
you could
shame.
dishonor him, man. Yeah, that's another option.
It's always an option.
I dishonor my parents. God bless my parents. They're both such like respectable, straight edge people and high achievers and so on.
Yeah, what do your parents do? What?
Oh, my dad is actually George. No, my
father's Jesus.
That's right.
It's God.
No, my dad, when I was growing up, he was a superintendent of a school district. Now he's a headmaster of a private school.
Pretty good.
And then my mom was like in corporate banking. She was
even better. She made the money.
I always knew how much money my dad made because it was in the newspaper, and he would also brag about it. But I never knew how much money my mom made. She was so secretive about it, and I should just go and look through her tax returns. Because they're filed in the house. But
that never came up. How much money? That's interesting.
I imagine she made a similar amount, if not slightly more, slightly less, or whatever, than my dad.
I always like seeing the lady make more than the man. That always brings me joy.
Yeah, you got a girlfriend. She make more money than you?
Yeah, but it doesn't. It pains me in no way. It's.
No. Why should it pain you? Yeah. What's the the downside?
They're right, exactly. I guess that I don't know.
The downside is if the girl's making all the money and you literally can't support yourself, and then you're leeching off her, and it creates a power imbalance in the relationship or something like that.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
As long as you're making, whatever, your own livable wage, and you could split. You get dinner one time, she gets dinner another time, or something.
Exactly.
That's cool. My last serious girlfriend, she made so much more than I did, and even though I wouldn't, I still tried to pay for the majority of things. I got like, she had airline miles, so we could like do, stay at special places, or we stayed at a swim up hotel room in Bali.
Really?
Yeah, we stayed at, we got like a place in Cancun for a week and hung out there. It was cool.
Place in Cancun.
Through her work, she swiped for a lot of stuff and then would, report it. So I guess she got the miles.
Yeah, I've never been outside of the country. It's too bad.
Mexico or Canada? Neither way?
I've been through most states in the country, but...
Yeah. What about Jersey? You ever cross the Verrazano? You fucking...
What
am I saying? The Gobles or whatever?
Verrazano goes to Brooklyn.
Excuse me.
That's all right. I mean, it's all right. I'll excuse your ignorance.
I'm from the other side of the
goddamn...
goddamn...
you are from Westchester,
That's
so...
right.
Yeah, I think you only know the bridge that go into Manhattan.
That's it, man. Got that. Willis Avenue is really all you gotta know. That's the only free one.
Is that true?
Yep.
It's a 3rd Avenue bridge, right?
Excuse me, you're right. I think, what is it? I think there's the 1st Avenue bridge, actually, and then I think Willis Avenue and 3rd Avenue are the same. Don't quote me on that.
I think you're right.
But I think you're right. I believe they might both be free.
Well, good. We got that settled.
Just shooting the shit here, buddy. There's no... got the sword of Damocles over your neck.
This is nice. I haven't painted in forever.
I like it a lot, like the 1 or 2 times that I did it myself. You also feel like you accomplished something, even if it doesn't come out that good.
No, it's true. It's like, well, at least I tried, and you can kind of see.
You're so proud of it, man. It's like, I don't know, for some reason, like my ego goes into overdrive, and I just love then I start to like dislike it more and more the longer I have it in the house.
You start to see the blemishes.
Yeah, but I'm just like a newborn, like a father of a newborn when I first make it. You got other shit that's like important to you in your life besides doing comedy, girlfriends, working? You got some other secret thing about you that people don't know about? Guess handball, man. That's
Yeah, basically that's it. I mean, I like. I don't know, I used to have more time for friends. That used to be like a bigger part of my life, but it seems like it just kind of stops after a while.
What about neighborhood people? You still got people around to hang out with?
No, well, yeah, yes and no. I mean, a friend of mine is actually moving to San Diego, so we're actually going to have like a little, the people I went to high school with, we're going to have a nice little, get together and send them off and probably just get absolutely shit-faced. So
Sure.
It's going to be great. I'm excited for that.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know. I don't really want for anything. Like, it's weird. I'm not much.
Consider yourself a happy person?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think everything's okay. I keep it like at a nice baseline. It depends.
Consider yourself prone to depression at all?
Sure. But it's been pretty good lately, I gotta say.
Me too. God, I've really been feeling decent recently. You always try to remark on it when it's happening, and just
Let's try to remember.
Try to remember. It's like, it just wasn't always months of terror. Every once in a while, you were feeling okay.
Why does I keep doing that? That's weird.
Sometimes you're really happy, and then you realize it, and you're like, wow, I feel really great. Then it evaporates. Can't look directly at that.
When things break, it's like I think of them like many parts of yourself are fulfilled.
Yeah.
It's the best thing.
You have a comedy goal? Do you want to create a headlining set or do a special or do you have a direction, a thing you're aiming at specifically?
The headliner would be fantastic.
Right.
And obviously, it just seems like it's to really make money doing stand-up. You kind of need to. I don't know. It seems like you have to get a writing job first. I know some people. I know people who make their money through writing, and it's close, but I don't know how to get there. So I mean, I'd like to write, but also headlining stuff. But at this point, it just seems like I really want to get very good at stand-up, and it just takes so much time.
There's people Comedy Central half hour we're shooting in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Somebody posted on Facebook about it. And I saw Casey James Salango was on it and Anthony DeVito.
Yep.
Now I've been in the same room as those people at least,
Yeah.
I mean, that's not so it doesn't feel so many steps removed to for our generation or whatever of comedians to start passing through there also.
I suppose, but then again, think about how many people that we know that didn't get it, and also kind of on that level. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I am always very it's a long shot to get that half an hour. Do you know?
Such a long shot for it to get to any paid level whatsoever. I think.
Oh yeah.
There's just a fucking never ending where you're going over the horizon over and over and over again before you're gonna get. I don't know. You're gonna break $10,000 a year on it. I mean, what?
So I guess that's why I need some. Writing credit or something like that, so you can kind of sustain yourself.
Also, you get that writing money for the writing. Hopefully, that's happening too. If I couldn't do it with just stand-up, I'd like to put together a palette of things together that. Whether it's stand-up and writing or...
Right, I mean, just to expect, to be able to do all that.
Yeah.
The idea. But it's, it's just hard. But it's I try to keep, somewhat in perspective. All right, just get better, and things will come from that. But I don't know if that's necessarily true. But you try to,
Well, it's not a meritocracy. Like, maybe it's more of a meritocracy than some other things. But all you have to do is go through the Netflix specials and watch them all and see, are you laughing at most of these things or not?
I think Nick Cannon's was like notoriously bad. I don't know. I've heard that from all over. Even people who are very polite were like, that was
Right. I saw Chris Tucker's, which was like atrocious. It was,
Oh, really?
It was really bad. I like had to watch it in 15-minute chunks because it was like all I could take. I was just feeling very embarrassed for him.
Jesus. No, but it's like, yeah, it's an interesting thing, you know. Like, how do you not know what's bad? How do you get to a certain level? Like, how do you not know that this is a problem? You know.
Seems to happen so often that there's obviously a way that it happens.
Right.
Just because we're not seeing it, don't mean that it's not real. I think. I've been thinking more about doing things for their own sake, you know, and not wanting to have my own things that I want to achieve, but then really having them have no correlation with other people's sense of achievement or money or whatever necessarily.
It kind of seems like the only sane way to go about it. You know, start. You know, it just, you gotta figure. You know, you gotta set your own thing. Like, you gotta do it for the right reasons. You know, like why are you doing stand up? Do you want to get good at it? There are a lot of people like, when should I get headshots? And I'm like,
A lot of people are saying that to you.
I mean, it's just like
Do
a
they
weird.
figure you already have headshots because you're so handsome? Is that
Well,
what they
yeah,
figure?
that's what it is. Like, oh, you must know. You must get your picture taken a lot. And I said, well, I do. That's true.
So, I've never paid to have my pictures
Yeah,
taken,
right,
actually,
exactly.
So,
People pay me.
I just don't know.
No, it's just a matter. I think it's thinking like foolish too. You know, like those people aren't. I feel like aren't for the wrong reasons. You know, like, oh, I want to get, you know, headshots. When should I get a manager or anything like that? Well, why don't you worry about getting good?
Yeah, well, you are so out of it when you are starting to do stand-up where I guess you think you're getting better, or you have to lie to yourself about how bad you really are to keep doing it. Yeah, I was so bad nobody would talk to me for 2 years.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think anybody wanted to be associated with me for more than like a sentence of
I kind
greeting.
of feel like that could have been in your own head a little bit.
Yeah, I bet.
I feel like that's, you know, 2 years is a long time.
I know.
I think I was definitely.
I'm not so unpleasant to be around
No,
that it
no,
should take
no.
that long.
No,
It's crazy. I'm just high most of the time.
maybe that's what it is. Just in your head a lot.
Well, to quote Fiona Apple, he said, "It's all in your head." I said, "So is everything," but he didn't get it.
2 years. What were you doing? Did you not smile enough? Just say hello to people. What were you doing?
I was telling you about summer camp where nobody liked me.
Right.
I went back to school after that, and then everybody started liking me again, right? It was like the Twilight Zone. And then I was just like shook it off, like, oh, okay, I guess that was just a weird summer thing. And then I moved for high school. I moved from Connecticut to Westchester, and then like nobody liked me at the new school or whatever. Nobody bullied me. I was just, you know, I didn't have any friends, and it was like that for all of high school pretty much. And I got very superstitious about, like, I think about people like turning on their like of me or being liked in certain. I don't know. You talk about being in your head about something. Yes, I think. Yeah, I guess I know what you mean about that.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Making friends through stand-up is also true. Who are your buddies? Like, who would you consider to be?
Doing stand up.
Yeah.
Doug Bryan and Max Antonucci are friends of mine. Ryan D's a buddy. Eric Lerman and I are buddies.
It's a good group.
Who else? Other people, obviously, I have nice friendly relationships with. But I'm trying to think who are like. I hope I'm not insulting somebody by leaving them out. But I don't know.
do you have like a best friend doing stand-up or somebody that you're always happy to see or something?
Best friend? I don't know.
It's kind of a dorky. It's like a little bit of a corny question, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's still sweet, I guess. What?
Sure.
Yeah.
Casertano's, we're good buds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been to his house and watched the World Series there. That was fun.
That's what I mean. Like, it's like, are there comics that I'm hanging out with recreationally? Yeah, but just a few.
I guess Usama. Me and Caitlin Paloofa are pretty good.
That's cool. I admire her a lot.
Fumi.
Fumi's very funny too.
Fumi's good people. Pedro Gonzalez.
Also funny.
So, I think who else? I'm missing somebody. Must be. You know, those guys. Most of them.
That's good.
We get along okay.
What do you think you picked up most of them? Like, where were you seeing them so much that you guys became friendly?
Well, Osama's fucking like, you know, he was everywhere. I mean, he still is, but, you know.
I think anybody could find themselves being friends
Yeah.
with Osama just by chance. But
Just like-
I guess he's probably say the same about a lot of those guys. Everybody moves around.
Yeah, Osama was around a lot. And I just talked to him about, you know, when I first came to Manhattan, I was like, how many sets should I do? And I was like, who's the guy who does the most? And I kind of got to him. He was like the top.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, how many do you do? And he said, I think he's like 20, 25. And I was like, I can't do that. It's impossible. But I can shoot for 20. So through him, I was able to kind of set my regimen of doing 20 or close to 20.
You used them like some sort of pace car or something?
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good idea. So how long were you going where you were aiming for 20?
Oh, I still do it.
Really?
Yeah. Last week I was at 19. I missed it by one, and it's always annoying, but it's like, all right, whatever.
God bless you, Peter Revello.
I don't know. I'm trying to get out of it now, though. So I'm waiting. Hopefully, the next couple months it'll change a little bit.
You're usually doing a mic every day of the week.
Sunday's girlfriend.
You're like working
day.
as hard as I tell people I'm working. Jesus Christ.
Sunday is the girlfriend day. So I do not do stand up
Some
on
things are
Sunday.
sacred.
Yeah, I can't. I feel like, you know, she puts up with a lot, and it's just, you know, how, you know, one day is, at the very least, I should be giving up to hang out and, you know, just do brunch or just do whatever. But girlfriends are hard. It's a weird thing. When's the last time you had a lady, an actual, you know, girlfriend, long term?
I was waiting for the sentence to finish. I was like, so let's see. The last time I had a girlfriend was 2010. No, that's not true. The end of 2013, December 2013. And then since then, it's just been one barstool floozy after the next.
Is it bad? See, you know, because I've been in a relationship now for 6 years, and that seems kind of cool.
Yeah, it's real cool. No, man, my philosophy on this is like, I get laid twice a year, and I can like either accept those or not accept them. So like, if I'm dating somebody, I don't accept them. Like 2 new people or whatever every year. And it just works like that. It's almost no matter how hard I push at it,
You're
or
always into
no matter how fat and lazy and like introverted I get, that is just what's gonna wander into my net.
You catch 2.
That's right. So I haven't really figured out how to push my luck with that, and I'm not. Maybe it's my libido or something, but it's not the biggest thought in my head, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like at a certain point, it's like, all right, I get it. You know, you've been there, done that. But it's still a fun thing, like the chase and stuff. I still, I'll be in the Lower East, you know, the East Village, and I was like, damn, there's so many ridiculously attractive girls.
Yes. And it's nice, you can always have the fantasy, of course. It's like you are theoretically available for them, you know? So it's like
Right.
anything could happen, where I guess you have to, practically that's not reasonable.
Yeah, you know, I think that life would be easier if I cheated, but it's, you know.
In the very short term. And then
Oh, yeah, no.
make things so much harder in the...
Yeah, the guilt.
the medium
is,
turn.
The guilt.
Guilt's
is,
terrible. I've only cheated on a girlfriend once in high school, and then I went to go visit Tulane to see if I wanted to go to college there.
Oh, really? That's.
And,
you like New Orleans is great.
Yeah, that's where I went to college.
Did you really?
Yeah, and so well because. So the idea was I was dating this girl and I was 17 and she was 16 I guess, and then I went to I stayed with this friend of mine from calculus, not from statistics rather, and she had gone to Tulane and she said I could sleep in her room, and then I fucked her roommate. We just got so drunk and it was great, and she's a college chick and she was really beautiful. She's a virgin.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then I went back, and it was like the least regrettable experience of all time. And then I went back, and then this girl and I broke up a couple months later. Then we got back together. Then we broke up, and then she accused me of raping her.
What? Really?
So this girl, we broke up, and then she had been visiting me at Tulane, and then she flew home.
The one you deflowered?
No, this is the girlfriend, the one I cheated on. I never told her about it, obviously. Not obviously, but I didn't. And the point of the matter is we got into a fight, she flew home, then she went to my buddy's house to get cocaine. My buddy was like, Kate came over, and she's got like bruises on her arms, and she says you raped her. I call Kate. I was like,
hey.
This guy says I raped you. Kate's like, you know what you... She like starts screaming at me, like, you know what you did, you know what happened, blah, blah, blah. Click. And then just would not answer another call for me for like 3 years or something.
That's
and
terrifying.
So...
That's so scary.
Yeah, and she never, brought out any charges against me or anything like that. It was just... But to this day, she's never said that I didn't rape her. We, just as a coda to that story, during Hurricane Katrina, I had to leave New Orleans for my senior year and go up I did a semester at Columbia, and she was at Barnard, and so we had English class together, and I stared at the back of her head for, a semester in, 15th century English literature.
And just nothing? Like she didn't, talk to you or anything? Not
Nope.
Crazy.
I think once she messaged me on Instant Messenger or whatever, like GChat or something, and she was like, why don't you ever talk to me? And another story, I guess, is that I was sitting at the bar across from Eastville. I can't remember what it's called, but it's Oklahoma themed. And they have a big glass window there, and I saw her walking by, and she was with her husband. And it wasn't even that I recognized her. I thought it was her, but then I was sure it was her husband because I'd seen pictures of him on Facebook. Or I would when it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I have the soul and I want to foment my anger against some people from the past.
So you saw her, and then what happened? Nothing?
She walked by. I had all these fantasies about how I was going to scream that she was a rapist if I ever saw her in real life. Like I was going to just keep screaming rapist at her until she ran away.
Jeez.
But I never got to...
Maybe one day you will, I'm a bit of an optimist.
To God's ears.
She's with her children, and you come up. Maybe you had a few, and you're like, let me tell you something about your fucking mother. And you start screaming and yelling and...
God. Oh, so the moral of the story is I
Don't
cheated
rape.
on this girl and it was great. I got in on her before she did this terrible thing to me. So it was I didn't rape this girl, I guess, needless to say. But so she did this awful thing that made me feel terrible, and all I had to hang on to was that I had gotten one over on her once. But
Small
that's
victories,
that it really is a small victory though. It's not too much to brag about.
Boy, their egg on her face. Don't you feel stupid?
It's funny. I'm not that much older than you. I'm 32, but I got a buddy that I met when I was like 2.5 or something like that. So because we were in preschool together, but we're still buddies.
Really?
So we'll be buddies for 30 years, right?
That's crazy. It's a weird number to say, right?
30 years, something to go where I've known this person, and we're still buddies. Now this shit happened, whatever it was, 13, 14 years ago, whenever I was in college and shit. But the emotional content of it is almost all gone. I almost barely remember the stories. You ever have people tell you stories about things you've done that you don't really remember anymore?
No, I don't know.
Or you were, maybe if you were drunk or something, you don't remember that you did it or something.
No, yeah, definitely. That happens quite a bit. Even when I'm not, yeah. Like, oh, I said that? Like, and sometimes it'll be
right.
somewhat profound or something. Was like,
yes, or funny or something.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you said this funny thing this time. It's like, ooh,
great.
Now I get to enjoy it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I get to just sit back and lap up my own genius.
Oh, New Orleans is fantastic, by the way. I love New Orleans.
When were you there?
I was there last year and the year before that. One year for St. Patrick's Day and another for Halloween. Halloween, St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, Halloween's fun there.
Yeah, it was. I just love that. I mean, you can't get a bad meal.
God, I really. That was also, it wasn't like eating in New York or like a lot of the restaurants in New York. They really do sort of have their own thing going on over there.
Oh, yeah.
You can get sushi and shit like that, obviously. Also, things that would be obviously recognizable. But even the little things, like the sandwiches you get all the time are on a different type of bread. They're just like these little 10-degree tilts that make everything specific to the area.
Oh yeah, I mean it's really great. I mean, my friend, the person we were visiting, we were in the Marinade.
Yep.
Like by what? It was just great. I mean, the downside is that people are a little too relaxed down there. I found.
It's the opposite of New York.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I gotta go, man. I know, like, I understand, like, you live in a different pace, but can we, I know we're riding a trolley and it's very quaint, but I still got, I don't want to waste the fucking 40 minutes.
People riding that shit to work in the morning.
Yeah,
can you imagine that?
No, it would drive me nuts.
Sit on that to go 2 miles in 40 minutes or whatever,
exactly.
And you're like, what the fuck? But it's too hot to ride a bicycle, so you just have to deal with it.
What summer down there must be insane.
It's like nothing you can imagine.
It's horrible, right?
Don't even try, man. I would always try to leave for the summer, but then I was on fucking. Later, I was working, so I worked through the summer, and then when I was on probation where I couldn't leave the state for a fucking year. And
what did you do?
I got caught selling weed out of my dorm room, but and then I got expelled from that, and then I had a lot of legal trouble.
Oh, really? You got in legal trouble for that?
I had a felony charge, and then I had to.
Yo, Louisiana's no bullshit. They scare the shit out of me.
It's funny about it. Apparently, in 2010 in New Orleans, you can possess up to like 1.5 pounds or like 2.5 pounds or something like that now.
Yeah.
And they could just write you a ticket, or they could not. It wouldn't necessarily be a misdemeanor offense. And I had like 1.75 pounds. So.
Oh well, that's a lot.
And they were individually ounced out. It was they were in a padlock safe or whatever.
Right, you made it pretty easy for them to make the case.
It was. Well, I was fucking high when they caught me, and then the guy's like, he wanted me to open my safe. It was like a fireproof safe with a dial lock on it,
Yeah, you need
and I was, and he's like, "We'll take it easy on you. Like, we'll say you cooperated if you open the safe." I guess that's my PSA, is like, don't ever listen to anything these fucking idiots are telling you, man.
No.
Just lawyer up. Don't open nothing that's locked.
Right, exactly.
Just make them bust it open with a crowbar if they want it so badly. Might be able to get an injunction or something. So anyway, I opened the safe and there was all that shit in there. Anyway, they expelled me from school. I ended up getting 2 years probation that I served like a year and change on, because I went through I do all this drug group therapy and go to AA meetings and so on and so forth. And then I had to do a piss test once a week. I had to do all these court appearances, etc. So
it sucked. And yeah, because like Louisiana, I mean, they're just so law and order. I mean, you go outside of New Orleans, and it's like fucking don't fuck around.
Yeah.
New Orleans was no picnic either, man. The suburbs actually had the reputation for being a lot easier. The jails were nicer and less crowded, and the police were supposed to be nicer. The Orleans Parish Prison, where I was, it was like 3.5 days altogether.
You were in 3 days?
I was there for like half a day the first time, and then for 3 days the second time.
So annoying.
Yeah. It was way annoying.
It must have been terrifying.
I was
too.
very annoyed, I remember
yeah.
at the time. I remarked on that to my cellmate.
Yeah, this is a bit of
How
a
annoying
bother.
I found
It's a bit of a bother.
How bothersome I found the whole thing. Yeah, it sucked.
I'm a bit miffed. All right, I'm gonna shoot straight right now.
Today, yeah, it's fucked up.
It was fucked up. I'd imagine so.
Yeah. But again, it's like it's lost all its emotional content. I hear the song "Rubber Band Man" by T.I., and that was on the radio at the time that I went to jail, and I'm like, oh yeah, Rubber Band Man. I was in jail when this song came out.
It's a fun anecdote to share. So, hey, you know
I always think about that when I hear that song. I put it on my running mix or something.
Running mix. I don't know why I like that. It's like you're just running away from it, you know, like you're listening to it and just trying to escape the bad time. Well, I'm sorry you had such a terrible time. And have you been back since?
Oh, the point was that made my first 3 years in New Orleans real shitty because like I had my first year I was just high all the time and I lost my scholarship after the first year. I got expelled after the second year.
Oof.
And I got off probation after the third year. So then, and then Hurricane Katrina happened. So then I got back into school miraculously. I asked if I could come back, and they said yes. You have to do your last 60 credits at Tulane to graduate from there.
So you were there after Katrina?
I was there during Katrina.
It must have been wild.
Yeah, well, we left on like Saturday. The storm was on Monday. We drove to Houston. And then I flew back on Wednesday, and I went to Columbia on Friday, and then I was in class on Monday.
Wait, really?
Yep.
Class resumed that soon right after the hurricane?
We were supposed to have class that Monday starting also.
Did you help clean up and stuff, or?
Am I the maid? My fucking house got like, the whole back part where my bedroom was got blown in. And we got some insurance money for that, and then we got some like treasury money, $2,000 that we split. Me and my roommate, even though his shit was fine, so whatever. But I went back a month or so after the storm, and I did a drive around.
It must have been
It's fucking chaos.
devastating.
It was insane, man. It was hell on earth. You would they had these grassy medians between roads going in different directions, you know?
Yeah, like underneath, like where the Superdome is, like I remember like those winding roads. You see like dudes underneath them, like underneath the expressways.
That's not what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about just like a regular road that going east to west or whatever like that. In between them, they have a thing called the neutral ground, which is just this big grassy median between the road going in both directions. And so you would just see debris piled up 4 stories high, pushed into this center neutral ground in between roads, just for like blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks of debris after debris after debris. It was insane. I got pulled over for running a red light 3 years later, because the light was still on the fucking ground because it just been sitting there since Katrina 3 years after the fact.
That sounds like New Orleans.
I still wasn't allowed to run it though, man. They still pulled me out, handcuffed me, threw me in the back of the cop car, took everything out of my pockets, and ran my record because they were still so sure they had me on a DWI. I'd been smoking weed, but I hadn't had a drop to drink because I was hungover from the day before. I was coming home from a Mardi Gras parade, so they were so sure they had me. And I did have a half of a bottle of liquor in the car because I was moving.
But that's okay, right? I mean, they have like dry.
It was. I hadn't been drinking it, and it was sealed. Yeah, there's drive-through daiquiri and shit like that. You're not allowed to drink it while you're driving, though.
Yeah, isn't it? You can't put the straw in.
That's right.
It's so ridiculous.
Or you can put the straw in, but you can't take the top thing off the straw.
Yeah,
like
it's
Yeah.
All right, well that's you, but yeah, I don't know. It's really they try to give you a deal. I mean, so they gave you a ticket for running a red light.
They gave me the ticket for running the red light, and I was fucking mad about it. It's another weird situation where it was like, because of these neutral grounds, there are these kind of left turns that you make where you'll make a left turn through the green, but then you'll hit a red right away while you're in the neutral ground between the 2 blocks or whatever. And so I knew, as a matter of fact, that I shouldn't be going through straight. But I went through the green, and then there was no light present, so I went through that shit too. And they pulled me over. Whoop! 2 female black cops. One of them was fat.
Just like a fat black cop.
I haven't trusted a female black cop of any size since.
Yeah, right. Ever since. Yeah. I don't know. Like that's. We have last time I flew in, we flew in Lafayette because it was cheaper.
Yeah.
We drove like the 3 hours or whatever it is, and it gets real like. Oof.
South to
feel-
trip. You
feel the
don't.
presence.
You have experience in the South otherwise.
Yeah, we drove through Mississippi and stuff like that when I went across the country. So.
Yeah.
We were
Because
definitely-
I would drive through. I would drive back and forth between New York and New Orleans. You know, I did it 15 times or something.
Wow.
And fucking Virginia is long but fine. Tennessee, fine. Even Mississippi was always fine, man. Alabama was the only place that was like frightening to drive through. Like you'd just be driving down the highway and people would open their window and like scream at you, like just hollering at you. I had New York plates. I think that's what it was about or something. But they would like yeah, it happened more than once. And I just haven't met a lot of people from Alabama that have changed my mind about that prejudice, I guess.
Maybe they sensed your Jewishness and they were just like, no way, Jose, we're not.
I wonder if they could even spot a Jew if they saw one, man. That's not as easy. When people haven't seen a Jew, like I think it's a little bit harder if I'm not wearing any paraphernalia. My tefillin and my I can't remember the names of the things. Fuck. Oh, you know what's a good song?
Almost there with this thing. I don't know what it's worth, but you know.
Really appreciate you coming over and doing it, man. Thank you so much.
This is cool. It's kind of therapeutic, you know. It's
Good,
like a
good.
nice-
Yeah, I hope it's not picking your pocket or whatever. It's
No, not at all. I just have to text random. So I'm gonna probably go to the New York Comedy Club.
Oh yeah, how's
Do a
that,
set
Mike?
there. Yeah, you know, whatever.
I've had I just have had nothing but sort of not that I always do bad there or something like that. It's just kind of a dark, sad sort of experience.
I like it. I've grown to like it. You know, like a.
Yeah, you really start to get a taste for those bitter notes or whatever in the comedy whiskey.
But it's good though. Like it gets you back. I feel like it does somewhat get you better. You're like, oh, you don't want to get good at bombing, but it does. It's important to look comfortable while you're absolutely having your creams like crushed. You know, like it's important just to go.
Well,
I'm
that
okay
is
with this.
your benefit. Your good thing. You do look comfortable on stage. I'd say that's pretty consistent about you.
Yeah, you try not to look like because
You're not like a deer in headlights, even
No,
if
no.
jokes aren't, even when jokes usually aren't working.
Yeah.
Just,
you just go, oh,
what a hilarious stab I took.
You got me. Sometimes I do poorly at open mics. Shit.
Ooh.
Well, that's it. This interview's over.
Delete the whole thing.
Yeah.
Taking the fucking canvas with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a shit on this now.
I already told you I didn't like that.
Right. Well, you know exactly. That's why I'm doing it. If you liked it, it would seem counterproductive.
Totally. I'll be honest. I'm probably not gonna have you back.
Thank God.
That'll be the end of that.
I need this shit. Come in here, tell me about how you steal stuff and how you like, you know, you don't like black cops. And I'm like, whoa, God.
Trying to relate to the common man. I don't like any cops.
No, I
bunch
could.
of jerks.
I'd imagine, yeah, you had a bad run.
Man, you ain't gonna.
I don't care for police.
I met one. I was dating a girl in New Orleans, and then her sister's husband was a cop, and he was okay. I knew him on a personal level, and he didn't seem like a bad-hearted person. But that's end of list. Otherwise, I've never liked a cop or had any kind of positive feelings about them for a second. I think that's true even before I just have a problem with authority from the get. I don't like people telling me not to steal stuff or lie about things or hit people when the lights are off or whatever.
When the lights are off.
It's from The Simpsons. Like it's a victimless crime, like punching someone in the dark. I think it was Nelson. Last chance, you want anything?
Oh, sir.
Beef jerky?
Oh.
Shrimp popcorn?
No, thank you. I don't eat the meats, baby.
Oh, you're vegetarian, that's right.
Yeah. It's okay.
You vegan?
No, it's too extreme.
It is extreme.
I don't know how people do it. They just eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all the time.
Yeah. And it's always kind of disappointing when you meet a vegetarian or a vegan and they're just eating a bunch of cheese or some shit like that. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, right. My friend.
Shouldn't this be ideally like a better lifestyle? You should be.
My friend
should have
became
some
vegan
concern
and he
for health
gained weight.
whatsoever. Yes. Oh, really?
Yeah, because Oreos are vegan, so what's his problem?
What was he eating?
A lot of Oreos, I'd imagine. Bread.
Yeah. It's probably get pushed toward a lot of bread shit. That's probably not that great for you either, to be eating a lot of processed wheat. You're really fucked, man. There's no way really to know what the right thing to eat is. You feel better being a vegetarian?
No.
You seem like you exercise a lot.
I mean, moving.
Not that you look so good, but you're saying you sound like
Thank
you're
you.
doing a lot of moving around and handball and shit like that.
Yeah,
It seems like you've got a physically active lifestyle.
Ideally, I mean,
Yeah.
this year's been better than last year. I mean, moving. I feel like my mental health is way better when I'm doing something physical.
Yeah. I think the health benefit or even the looking better benefit of working out is like
Tremendous.
the last thing about it though. It's really more about the like your mind is better and you go to sleep easier and like there's all these sort of ancillary benefits that even if it didn't make you look better, it would still be worth doing.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. Yeah, I don't know.
Glad we're not going to fight about it.
Finally, we've hit common ground.
It is hard. You think yourself as easy to talk to or hard to talk to?
I guess it depends.
Who's doing the talking?
If I like the person,
Right.
but I feel like I'm pretty easy
You think
to
that's
talk
what
to.
it is? Like you're ratcheting up your personality up and down based on how much?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes I still want to talk to people like they try to start conversations with you, and I just don't want to. Why?
It's a problem, doing comedy. You're just mixed around with all these people talking, and you wouldn't normally give yourself so many people access to your ears, and just because I'm standing around having a cigarette or something doesn't mean I'm up to be abused.
Abused?
Yeah, well, that might be putting it too strongly. It's hyperbolic
I like the.
for effect.
I like that. So what? Comics sometimes just come up to you and start giving you shit.
Well, yes, they do that too. I think it's because I kind of hang around. Like, if I'll hang out with Doug, who's a big personality, and he talks a lot of shit, like constantly, And then if you get Max with him too, Max will start talking a ton of shit too.
I don't see him anywhere but Eastville, Max.
Max, he works in Jersey now, so he doesn't do as many New York mics anymore. It's his shame. I like hanging out with him, obviously. But maybe because other people have seen like them fuck around with me, they'll occasionally like take a swipe at me because you think that's like something I want, or because they think that's like the way to be friends, or like that's just something comics do, or I don't know what's going through their mind. But I like to keep things nice if I can help it.
That's the
The
idea.
occasional jab aside, and sometimes I can't help myself.
Then you're gonna punctuate that with like, you fucking queer.
Right. No, I think I might be almost done calling people gay and queer and fag and stuff like that.
That's good.
A lot of the fun has been taken out of it by hearing about how it hurts people's feelings. And then I had a friend in college who like sat me down once and was like, I'm gay and it like hurts my feelings when you say bad things or gay or whatever. And I took that to heart. But I'll be damned if it's the same way I'll call an Asian if I'm sitting in my car waiting to park and it's like taking a lady a long time to get out of her space, like I'll call her the N-word in my own car. Like in that same vein, like it's still I'll call things fag or whatever in my head, or every once in a while it slips out. I don't know.
I don't know. There's something funny about calling something an N-word. It's just not. Like, it's just not.
Oh, it's the best, man. If you're ever talking to a cat or you're talking to, or yeah, like the drawer stuck or
Jeez,
something like that, it's so fucking satisfying. It is just the taboo of it, obviously, but it's God.
It's like smoking cigarettes. You know it's bad for you, but
it's also a
it
bond.
just makes you look so cool.
Yes, it does, and it's also a bonding thing between two people.
Oh no!
Like if you're saying it like in between you two, you don't say it all the time, obviously, but now it's like a secret the two of you can keep together that we're N-word buddies.
N-word buddies.
Yeah. With black people too.
Right, I think
That'd
they
be,
especially
that'd be even especially so, right?
Yeah,
That'd be even better.
They really like that.
Where else have you traveled to? You go to California?
California, the whole Nevada. They took the whole thing across I-80, I-90, and then where else? Let's see. I don't know. Utah was pretty cool.
Where'd you go in Utah?
Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
There's a place, Park City, where my cousin used to go skiing, like about an hour from there or whatever. And I'd try to sleep on her floor while she was going on ski vacations. That was the best, man. That was the best. I had snowboard, but that was the best that I'd ever had in my life.
Utah?
Yeah.
It's great, right? It looks like Mars.
It does look like Mars.
It's the best. It's so. That's what's great about going across the country.
Yeah.
Is that you really get a sense of like just how big it is, and how there's like how
Sky is
are
so
we
small
one
in
country?
New York. Like,
The sky? Oh yeah, it's tiny.
How I don't really know how to effectively communicate that to people, but I go down to Louisiana and I can't explain to them how much more sky they have than I do. Even if I stand on my roof and I'm pretty much the tallest building around, there is just less. It's like the Earth is more round at this point or something. Like there's just less to see.
Yeah, going through Nebraska was a real trip. You just see just for miles and miles and miles.
Also, if you catch crazy stars, like I did acid and I laid on my roof and I was like picking out the 7 stars that it was like humanly possible to see with the naked eye here in New York. And I was like drawing lines between them or whatever, trying to make them move around. But yeah, you leave the city sometimes and it like catches up with you at night. You just like stick your head up by accident. You're like, whoa, I remember all this shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's the best. I don't know. I was in Arizona. I was in the where was I? Grand Canyon, and you just the amount of stars is wow. It's just amazing. There's really nothing like it. It just keeps going on forever. I don't know. I guess the locals I spoke to, they didn't seem like they were like, ugh. Star. I think you're constantly in wonder when you look at celestial bodies.
Oh yeah.
It's not a certain. You don't go. Oh yeah, I know, right? The Milky Way.
No, in like kind, I look up in New York and I look at all the buildings if I'm walking through a particularly buildingy part of town, And I'm like, whoa, man, that's cool. That's cool. I still appreciate some of that stuff, even though it's ubiquitous. So I think whatever your local attraction is, that's you're probably proud of it. I think all of outer space is probably more fascinating in some respects than a bunch of buildings, but it depends on your perspective, I guess.
You should have Doug Bryan do this.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get him.
I'm curious what he would paint.
Me too.
Mine just like is all dicks, you know. And he's like he just can't figure out like why he keeps drawing phallic features, and he's like, well, I don't get it. I try to draw a tree, and this comes out like a dick. He tries to draw a chair, it's like a penis-shaped chair, and it's like, oh, you know.
That was what was it, Superbad or whatever?
Oh yeah.
He was drawing dicks all over the place. Anyway, yeah, I can imagine your scenario. Most people like sit down and something's in their head. It's funny. I play the drums, and so I tap a lot on my legs and stuff, you know. And there's usually some sort of beat going on in my head. I wonder if it's like a similar thing where there are things in your head that if somebody put a canvas in front of you at any given time, you'd be drawing just images that are stuck in your head. Pretty far out. Ugh. Man. How long were you in New Orleans when you were there?
About a 4-day stretch, and then another one, same thing, 4 or 5 days.
You have buddies there, or?
Yeah, we have a friend from Staten Island who moved out there and joined the circus, basically. So,
Oh shit! What circus?
He does like a traveling, like he'll like walk on glass, and he gets tattooed while he sings opera. He's fucking, you'd like him, man. He's really cool.
would.
Yeah, he's really out there. Great guy, Nick Williams.
That's his name too?
Yeah, this was wild.
Like the country singer?
Oh, is it like the country singer? Does the country singer Nick Williams?
Hank Williams?
Well, Hank, but his name's Nick.
Oh no, Nick Williams.
Yeah.
Oh no, then there isn't.
Yeah, but to say, all right, that's interesting.
Yeah, once everything chilled out and I could go back to the city, and it was like everybody, after Katrina, people had such a love for the city, you know, who were around there, because I went back for the next semester, so I was like back full time in January after Katrina, and which happened, I guess, at the beginning of September, end of August. And it made it a lot more fun to be in the city. Like, people gave such a shit, you know. I think the Saints won the Super Bowl a couple years later or something, so like that was kind of continued it on, you know.
Yeah, that must have been crazy. That must have been fucking insane.
People, yeah, it was like such a exhale for people, like that they could do something good in the world or whatever. It really meant a lot at the time. Meanwhile, the city's still in shambles. I mean, shit was just broken for years. That was the worst city for that shit to happen to, because like they so didn't have their act together. No. That was what already distinguished the city in the first place. Every sidewalk was cracked and crooked. Every street was covered in potholes. There was like roaches and rats and whatever, cats. That was the big thing, man. Stray cats. And now they're starting to come back before the hurricane. You could not start your car without a cat jumping out underneath it. It was so country and weird.
Some rough edges, but I think that's about done.
Well, those fucking cats died in that hurricane, man.
I think they did, don't. I mean, I guess you could, get
Oh, they got on a cat helicopter. Last kitty copter out of Vietnam? I don't think so, man. They drowned. How fast can those things run?
How many deaths were there? Was it an obscene amount? I mean,
Non-feline? Couldn't say. Yeah, no, it was somewhere between 1 and 2, I think. 1,000.
whoa.
Maybe 1,000 and change. I don't really remember.
So what? What do I do once it's finished?
You can just leave it there, man. Let it dry. I'll clean up for you.
This is it.
Oh, it's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, that's okay.
You happy with the way it came out?
Yeah.
I think it looks great. Oh, can you sign it?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, sign it somewhere. It's really fucking cool, man. Thank you for making it for me.
Yeah, so I just wanted to.
I think it looks great. Yeah.
I can't tell.
I think it's great. Oh, man. What a nice treat. Thanks for spending the time, too. You worked hard on it.
Yeah. I figured you might as well.
You big on trying hard and working hard? I can't believe you're working so hard at comedy.
I think you got it, right?
It's paying dividends, and it's good that you care about it and that you're doing it as much as you can stand to do it. But that's what I mean, man. Ain't it fucking wearing on you?
Yeah, it does.
God, I find it very...
You search for the moments, though, like the new jokes. And the new jokes make it everything possible.
But the amount of writing you have to do just to not be boring yourself as you're going through, I guess it's good because it fucking increases your writing, because...
You got it.
But damn.
Yeah, it's a real pain, but I like it. I mean, I'm starting to really fall in love with it.
Sure.
Like, I liked it before, and now it's like something else. This looks okay. I think it looks kind of cool. Like, it's not like a masterpiece. It's obviously...
Peter, man, I think it's beautiful. Thank you very much, man. It's really great. Thanks, man.
It's kind of weird. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you for having me.
No sweat.
So now what? What are you going to do now?
Shit, it's 4. I don't know, what's the mic to do? I guess New York is at 5.
3:52. Oh, great.
Yeah, it's time. I'll walk over with you. Is that cool?
I drove. You want to come up?
Oh, yeah? Oh,
Go in style.
treat among treats.